When Park Sung Hoon had just starred in The Glory, people started wondering about his early beginnings and questioned whether he came from a wealthy family or not. Back in 2023, he started making headlines when word came out that he graduated from a foreign language high school. Not only that, it was also said he did incredibly academically, and that most of his family consisted of people with degrees in higher education. Most of his relatives were rumored to be doctors and lawyers, which made the public assume he was raised in extreme wealth. Describing Sung Hoon, an entertainment reporter wrote, "Park Sung Hoon acts as John Jae-joon, a chaebol's son who inherited a golf course from his father. In real life, he's also a son of a wealthy family. Except for Park Sung Hoon, most of his family members studied at law schools and medical schools." Turns out this couldn't be farther from the truth, as Sung Hoon actually really struggled in his early days. Recently, he appeared in an episode of variety show You Quiz on the Block and got candid about what it was like for him growing up. He shared that life was anything but easy for him when he was a kid, as his parents got really poor when he was in high school. In other words, the buzz about his supposed chaebol background was complete nonsense. Things were so rough that at times he didn't even have enough money to buy a hamburger from the cafeteria. Instead of having nice meals with the others, he would crouch on the stairs waiting for his friends to come back. His living situation was also incredibly depressing, as he lived in a semi-basement that was in the worst possible condition. He compared his house to the semi-basement shown in the movie Parasite and confessed he lived in something similar for around 7 years. The quality of the place Sung Hoon lived at was very bad, as the basement would fill up with water when it was raining. Elaborating on how he dealt with this, he said, "When I lived in the basement during the rain, the water would fill up to my shins. It wasn't easy to drain it when it reached the level of the socket, so my roommate and I soaked and wrung out the cotton blankets." At this point in time, he had his roommate to keep him company and help him in times of need, but the two eventually went on different paths, and Sung Hoon kept living in the basement by himself. Even though it was a pretty hard time for him now, he can look back at it with a bit of humor. While laughing a little, he said, "It hasn't been long since I came up to the ground, and it hasn't been long since I paid off my student loans. I live on the 14th floor now." Considering he was very low on money during this time of his life, he had to work many odd jobs to make ends meet. He explained that there isn't a part-time job he hasn't tried, so his resume was probably already long before he started acting. He confessed that anytime there was something he really wanted to treat himself with, he had to get very creative about how to earn the money for it. For instance, during the IMF crisis, there was a t-shirt he really wanted to buy, but of course he didn't have the money for it just laying around. In order to be able to afford it, he saved money on school meals, suggesting he probably skipped a few meals to be able to get the t-shirt. Sung Hoon revealed it's true that he graduated from a foreign language high school with pretty impressive academic scores too. He explained he performed well on most tests, particularly excelling in subjects such as Korean and English. This made him stand out academically and opened many doors for him. However, that doesn't mean it was cheap, as it took him years to pay off his student loans. He confessed he actually only managed to pay everything off 2 years ago, which is crazy to think about. Sung Hoon could have chosen to pursue any career path, especially since he was so gifted academically, but he ended up choosing acting. Breaking the news to his parents was quite the challenge, considering that they weren't well off and dreamed of a bright future for their son. Sung Hoon confessed his parents really doubted his decision, since it didn't look like his personality matched the field. He explained that as a kid, he was really introverted and shy, which could be a problem if he was to work as an actor. When he was younger, he used to play around with his close friends a lot, but his timid personality never allowed him to raise his hands to announce something. Not to mention, he was a big scaredy cat, and this continued for most of his life. Elaborating on this, he said, "Before enlisting, I still slept with the lights on because I was afraid of ghosts." Keeping in mind the way Sung Hoon was like when he was younger, his parents asked him if he was sure whether acting was really his one true passion. When Sung Hoon explained that this was the one thing he really wanted to pursue, his parents also felt a sense of relief. They told him, "That's good. If you want to do anything, that's good, because you normally don't have any goal. It's a good thing that there's finally something you want to do." Talking about what it was like telling his dad that he wanted to pursue a career in acting, Sung Hoon said, "When I decided to pursue acting, my father said he was okay with whatever I chose, but he hoped I would choose one profession well and stick to it. My father changed his profession, but he regretted it, so he gave me that advice. His father worked in the military and then changed his career to become a bank clerk. By the time Sung Hoon started acting, his father was already pretty old. One day, his father went to an alumni meeting of his old school and found out his former classmates were all either managers or some high executives. This really felt like a gut punch to him, as he and his family were really struggling to make ends meet. So then, one time, he came home drunk and told Sung Hoon, "I wish you could focus on only one thing. If you like acting, focus on that only." Sung Hoon shared that whenever he's going through a rough patch or when he thinks about giving up, he keeps in mind these words so that he can move forward. Before Sung Hoon made it big in the acting scene, he had to enlist in the military, and things were so bad at home that when he got his first military leave, his mother practically told him not to bother coming back. Sung Hoon confessed that poverty and the sense of inferiority he felt throughout his whole life became the driving force for him to do better and really make something of himself. He explained that when he was still a rookie, his acting skills were a bit rusty, so he worked hard to improve himself. He worked several part-time jobs next to acting because he needed to earn some money on the side to make his dreams come true. Speaking of his dream, he said, "I wished I could become someone who could do theater. I wished I could do a play without auditioning. I wished I could live without doing a part-time job, and I wished to give my parents allowance. I achieved all of them, my dreams, without missing a single one." Now that he's had his big breakthrough, he's able to regularly send money to his parents, which is everything he's ever wished for. Before he had his big breakout role in the acting scene, he worked for theater company Route 21. While he enjoyed doing stage work, the 9 months he spent working at the theater company were also incredibly frustrating. He had to work late nights, sleep at the theater, and struggled to secure roles due to the priority that was given to senior actors. To top it off, he only earned around 50,000 won in the 9 months he worked there. From 2011 and onwards, things started looking up for him. He was starring in a lot more plays and even secured a few minor television roles here and there. After years of acting on the sidelines, he finally had his big breakthrough in 2018 with a role in My Only One. Stealing the hearts of viewers with his portrayal of dentist Jang Go-rae, Sung Hoon was crowned the nation's son-in-law. His incredible performance was further solidified when he won the Best New Actor award at the 2018 KBS Drama Awards. Then, in 2022, he played the role of Jae-joon in The Glory, and this changed his life forever. His chilling performance as a villain stunned both viewers and critics, causing him to become one of the most in-demand actors of the moment. He then secured another huge role in Queen of Tears, putting in yet another irresistible performance as villain Eun-sung. He's receiving praise for his amazing acting skills, left, right, and center, and people can't wait to see him appear in season 2 of Squid Game as well. It's safe to say that by securing these roles and putting on these wonderful performances, Sung Hoon has achieved everything he ever dreamed of. Money-wise, he has nothing to worry about anymore, as his net worth probably skyrocketed after his most recent roles. It's said that after his huge success in The Glory, hundreds of brands have been wanting to collaborate with him, not to mention that his talent fee went up like crazy, meaning he's getting paid a lot more per episode now. This shows because in 2023, he managed to buy a luxury apartment in Seoul worth around $1.5 million. Even more cash is about to start flowing in for him now that he starred in Queen of Tears, and it's definitely not undeserved.